Hello everyone and welcome to this episode of All Things Local STL TV. I'm Chris Ley, your shop local guy, and I'm coming to you from the ever-impressive Outreach Studios here in Richmond Heights, Missouri. I'm excited to have you here today. Thanks for tuning in and being part of the Shop Local and Support Local revolution. Here at All Things Local STL, we focus on helping you learn more about the amazing local businesses and organizations that make our St. Louis area so great. One of the best ways you can support these folks is to download and register the All Things Local STL app today at getlocalstl.com. With the app, you'll find local businesses, local nonprofit organizations, local events, savings, promotions, and so much more. So if you love local like I love local, you're going to love the All Things Local STL app. Today we're going to introduce you to local business owner Deanna Ley, the CEO and founder of IKAGG, which stands for I Know a Guy/Gal. And IKAGG is a locally founded networking organization that celebrates a special culture and is designed to help local businesses and nonprofit organizations to connect, collaborate, and grow in their businesses and their relationships all throughout the St. Louis area and St. Charles areas. Next, I'm going to introduce you to Valerie Strobo, the Executive Director of CARE STL. This locally founded nonprofit organization is on a mission to create a supportive community rooted in collaboration, compassion, and caring for people and animals. CARE STL envisions a world where animals are nurtured in body, mind, and heart. And I can't wait to share these stories with you. We're going to be right back with Deanna Ley of IKAGG. Stay tuned. Operating a business or a nonprofit can often make people feel as though they're alone on an island. Traditional networking has also always been based on transactions. Well, Deanna Ley, founder of IKAGG, saw a real need for people to be able to meet and build their business by focusing first on real relationships and the human behind the business and take networking to new heights. Let's learn more about that as we welcome Deanna Ley, the CEO and founder of IKAGG. Hi, Deanna.
Oh, hey.
Now, this is a little cheesy because some people may not know this, but you're my wife.
I am your wife.
I am blessed to be your husband.
Aw.
I want to share with everybody, though, and I would love for you to tell the story about how IKAGG came to be.
Sure, of course. So IKAGG stands for I Know a Guy/Gal. Let's say your garbage disposal breaks.
Yeah.
It's not like you're going to go to Google and Google best plumber near me. You're going to call a friend or a neighbor, see who they know or have used. And so it's kind of that play on words, because when somebody asks for a plumber, your friend's going to be like, oh, I know a guy, you need to call my guy. Or, you know, if somebody's looking for a realtor, oh, I know a gal, yeah, call her.
Gotcha.
So it's a great way to get referrals and recommendations, and that's where the name came from.
Perfect. Now, you're coming up on your 5 years with IKAGG.
Yes, for sure.
All right. So tell us how it originated, the organization itself.
Sure. So we saw a need for a referral and recommendation group where kind of broke down the barriers across the St. Louis metro area, and Facebook groups were the way to do that.
They were.
So I loved being able to refer and recommend businesses that I had met through networking on Facebook groups, and I just decided one day to start my own.
Start your own. There you go.
And so it grew very fast over an extended period of time, and from there we decided to take that awesome group and transition it into a weekly networking organization.
Okay.
We had both been networking for quite a while, as you know, across the metro area, and we saw a need where, as opposed to it being simply transactional, to have those relationships come first, because we know that when you build relationships, trust gets built, and where trust happens, business happens.
Absolutely.
So on October 2nd of 2018, both of our babies were born on the same exact day. Yes. And I say both of our babies because our granddaughter was born the same exact day as our meeting launch for IKAGG Connect, which is our weekly networking organization.
All right, perfect. So inside of IKAGG, and again, it's a beautiful story because I was there when all that took place. I remember how incredible that day was.
It was.
But in IKAGG, there's not just the Facebook group, there's not just the IKAGG Connect. You have quite a few different ways for businesses and consumers to come together. Can you tell us a little bit more about that?
Of course. So for businesses especially, we have IKAGG Connect, which is again our weekly networking organization. We have IKAGG B2B, which is business to business, which is specifically for businesses who are looking to connect with other businesses.
Okay.
And then we have a newer monthly offering. We call it our monthly meetup, IKAGG Connections. We're on the third Friday of every month. We meet at the Llewellyns in Webster Groves, and it's one place where people from all over the metro area can come once a month and really start to build and deepen those relationships.
Okay, perfect.
Yeah, and we also have a fantastic website called IKAGGdirectory.com. It's a great place for businesses to be a one-stop shop for consumers who are looking for their products or services, and it's a great place for consumers to find quality businesses and find out a whole bunch about them in one fell swoop. So IKAGGdirectory.com, and then we also have what we just launched is our IKAGG podcast.
That's right.
Yeah, so IKAGGpodcast.com, the IKAGG podcast, I should say, .com is a great way for people to get to know business owners in the metro area, for them to tell their story. And we're also going to be doing some networking tips and tools too for any new businesses who are looking to figure out how to network and what that looks like, and give them the ability to do so in an easy way.
Awesome, awesome. Now, Deanna, I would love for you to tell everybody and share with everybody why you're so incredibly passionate about the IKAGG difference when it comes to networking.
Oh, I'd love to tell that. So we are built on the philosophy that together is amazing. And that means that when we all pull together in the same direction for the benefit of each other, the benefit of the group, amazing things happen. We're stronger together, for sure. And so
Absolutely.
The easiest way to do that is to come together as one group, really pull together for each other so you don't feel like you're on that island in business, because it can be super lonely for businesses or nonprofits. And we're founded on 3 pillars, so that Together is Amazing philosophy drives our 3 pillars, which is collaboration over competition. We believe that the only competition you have is you against your own goals, never the people in the room. Actually, you can actually learn from people in the room, even if they're in your same category. And then referrals through relationships. You know, referrals will come, but that relationship does have to be built first. And we've found that that really will be a sustainable way to network versus just looking at what you can get from the people in the room, which leads to our 3rd pillar, which is to give first and give often. When you look at the people in the room and see how you can give to them, how you can add value to them, whether it's an ear or a shoulder, or you can just lend some words of wisdom or help them out when they need it, and then you look for ways to do so often, they tend to present themselves, and it helps keep you top of mind and keeps those amazing relationships top of mind as well.
Absolutely. Now, one of the things that we've talked about, and thank you for sharing that, but one of the things we've talked about is getting to know the person behind the business. And I think this is one of the things that I've seen and I've had people tell me that really sets IKAGG apart for them. Tell us what that means to get to know the person behind the business.
Of course. So a lot of times when we meet somebody, we size them up based on what they can do for us. And a typical networking, when you walk in a room, you're looking at checking off the box of, okay, can they help me? Can they help me? Can they help me? As opposed to getting to know the person behind the business, seeing who they are, what they're about, what they're passionate about, why they started their business. When you get to know the person behind the business, I mean, what they do is fantastic, but it's not all that they are.
Right, it's not who they are.
Yeah, exactly.
It's what they do.
It's just what they do. And when you get to know the person behind the business, not only are you finding commonalities and ways that you can help each other, but it does help strengthen and build that deep relationship that will stand the test of time. We've proven it can stand the test of a pandemic.
Yes, you have.
And it will for sure stand the test of time, because relationships, I've seen it time and time again, they will build your business in the most authentic, real, and there's so much longevity to it when you do so. Do
Much more
relationships
sustainable.
first. Yeah.
Absolutely, absolutely. Well, thank you so much for being here and sharing IKAGG.
You're welcome.
I obviously had the inside track to IKAGG, but I'm sure our audience, our viewers now get to know a lot more about IKAGG. So thank
Awesome.
you for sharing your passion for helping people to build those real relationships and the sustainable relationships in business.
That's right.
I appreciate it. If you work or you own a local business or you're a leader in a local nonprofit organization, Deanna and the members of IKAGG invite you to visit and see the IKAGG difference for yourself. You're going to find them listed in the All Things Local STL app, and there you can see the full schedule of available meetings for you to attend. Stay tuned. After this break, we're going to meet Valerie Strobo, VP of Operations for CARE STL.
Reach your audience with Outreach Studios. Studio 17 offers 1,000 square feet of customizable space that can accommodate roundtable discussions, podcasts, live stream content, and much more. For a different look, we offer View 17. This one-of-a-kind event center is fully wired for broadcast and is perfect for corporate or commercial content. With Outreach Studios, the opportunities are endless. Elevate your message, your brand, and your expectations with Outreach Studios.
Welcome back to All Things Local STL TV. Our fur babies, as I like to call them, can bring incredible joy to our lives. They're our companions, our confidants, our playmates, and our hearts. However, we are all aware that some animals have a much tougher go in life. That is where organizations like CARE STL step up to provide shelter, care, and love to those animals that are in transition to their forever home. Today, we're going to learn all about CARE STL from Valerie Strobo, the Executive Director, as well as how you and I can get involved and help them. Welcome, Valerie.
Hi, thank you, Chris.
So happy to have you here.
I'm glad to be here.
I think it'd be great if we let everybody know exactly what CARE STL is all about.
Of course. So CARE STL is the 501c3 nonprofit that was founded to manage the day-to-day operations of the open admission St. Louis City Animal Control Shelter.
Right. And that occurred in 2018?
Correct.
All right.
Yep.
So in 2018, some things had to change. The facility that they had before wasn't that great. And Wing came along as the founder and said, hey, we've got a proposal, we can make this happen. And now you've rescued over 6,500 animals, I believe.
Yes.
And it keeps growing every day.
It does keep growing. I think so our contract with the city officially started in 2019. We were founded in 18.
18, right.
And then since now we're 5 years of operations, every year our intake has increased. The first year we were around 900 animals that we intaked and rescued.
Yeah.
And now we're right around 3,000
My
for
goodness.
2022. Yeah.
I know we're going to get into some details on this, but that sounds epidemic.
It definitely is. We've seen some very unprecedented issues, especially since 2020, honestly. We've seen some very different issues facing our homeless or our pets, actually just even owned pets. People with the economic situation happening since COVID,
Right.
so many people are losing their homes, not able to afford pet-friendly housing anymore, so they're being faced with having to surrender their animals. Also just the cost of food.
Right.
People can't keep up with it, and so they can't, they don't have any options but to surrender their pets.
That's sad. Kind of heartbreaking. I'm
It
sure it's
is.
heartbreaking for them. I'm
Yeah.
sure it's heartbreaking for you.
It really is. I've been doing this for a while now, and there's always an epidemic in terms of the pet cruelty, abuse
Sure.
behind the scenes and stuff. But definitely, like, people who do love their animals are like, yeah, it's heartbreaking for them to have to be faced with these situations of, what do I do? Do I dump this animal in a park, or do I face judgment and dropping off at a shelter? What do I do? So yeah, it's a whole host of issues.
Well, and CARE has made it easier for them to be able to come in and surrender the pet without being judged. And that is part of the transition for that pet to get to their forever home. Tell us a little bit about that process.
Yeah, absolutely. So that is, one of the coolest parts about CARE is that we are just as much about the people as we are about the animals in our community.
Right.
We really focus our scope of services for the city of St. Louis, where there's definitely a huge need for people-focused programming as much as animal focused. So we don't judge people when they're going through something. We try to make it as easy as possible so they're not faced with having to either dump their animals in a park where they could get hit by a car or shot even. You know, we try to make it as easy for them to come forward and just ask for help. If we can provide food, we'll do that. If we can provide vetting to help them stay with their owners, we will do all of that as well. Oh yeah, we're all about preserving. If our, you know, the first step we take is how can we help you guys continue to be able to care for your animal without surrendering it, because that's heartbreaking.
That's beautiful that you do that.
Yeah, so we have protective custody fostering where we can temporarily provide, you know, shelter if the person's in, you know, transition to a new home or something like that, or if they're hospitalized. And then unfortunately, if that's not an option, then we go to other things like vet care, food. If that doesn't work, then yes, we can offer a safe place to take the animal as well.
It's amazing. It's really well thought out, and it's not like your typical shelter.
No, no. And I mean, you have to be creative, you know, in these days, because it's a nationwide epidemic of there's simply not enough shelter available for the amount of unhoused animals. So you have to start thinking outside the box in order to help the gigantic need that is out there in this population.
Well, CARE's doing it.
We're trying. No, we are.
So I noticed on the website that you have a couple of different things that you do as an organization. It's not just bringing animals in, but you also have a fostering program. Tell us a little bit about that.
Sure. So about half of our entire animal population are in foster homes, and fostering is crucial to not only our organization, of course, but any organization, really. It allows you to save literally twice as many animals, because when you take an animal to foster, it opens up space at a shelter. So not only are you getting one animal into a home, you're now creating more room to intake another one off the streets.
Perfect.
Yeah, it's amazing. Plus, we just learned so much more. The shelter environment is a terrible place, honestly, to learn about an animal, because it's loud, it's scary, it smells like a vet. Exactly. You know, a lot of these people, sometimes their owners have passed away, and now all of a sudden, you know, they're in this loud, you know, just
this environment, that they're not at all used to.
Exactly. So by having them go into foster homes, we also can now truly learn about this animal and their behavior and their temperament, so we can more better place them in a new adoptive home.
Perfect.
Yeah.
Now, when it comes to need that CARE has,
yes,
I think it's important that we share a little bit about that. So what are some of the needs, the immediate needs that CARE has on an ongoing basis?
Sure. So first, of course, always donations. We are always in need of additional funding.
Yep.
You know, we spend close to $100,000 on not only, of course, every animal that enters our doors gets, you know, vet exam, spayed and neutered, vaccines, heartworm preventative, dewormer, microchipped, all of that. So in addition to that basic medical care package that every animal receives, we're also spending close to $100,000 on emergency medical care. And so we do see a lot of trauma. We see a lot of animals who've been hit by cars, sadly, who've, you know, been shot. It's a weekly occurrence. So all of those, you know, cost a lot of money to provide care for, because we don't hold back in terms of making sure to provide anything that they need to get them healthy and hopefully placed in another home.
Back to their forever home.
Exactly.
I love it.
So that, you know, we definitely need more support for, of course. Volunteer coming to help walk the dogs, enrich the cats that are there. Even, you know, answering the phones, we always need volunteers to help with anything. They are the lifeblood that allow us to continue to be able to provide the standard of care we want to the animals. And of course, adopt.
Okay. Of course, adopt.
Of course, adopt.
Of course, adopt.
Yes.
So if you can't foster, maybe you can volunteer and help in that way. If you can't provide donations, maybe you can volunteer. And if you can't come, you know, again with either of those, maybe you can just support online and just let people know about CARE and the things that you're doing.
Word of mouth is a huge part of it. Sharing posts on social media, that's a huge part of it too, just to help increase because we are new, and, you know, St. Louis has a lot of rescues in its area, so it's really important that word of mouth helps spread who CARE is and what our mission is.
Well, I can't thank you enough for taking the time to get away from the puppers and the kitties and to come here today and just to share what CARE is about and how we can all help CARE to have a little bit more notoriety so
Yeah.
people know about it, but also donate, volunteer, even shelter if that's on people's hearts.
Absolutely.
I really appreciate that. And they can find all of that at icarestl.org.
Exactly.
I nailed it.
Yes,
Well, thank
did.
you so much for being here.
Thank
Really
you, Chris.
appreciate
It's great
it.
being here.
And to learn more about CARE STL and to volunteer or donate, as we talked about, be sure to find their featured listing in the All Things Local STL app and follow them to stay updated. We're going to be right back to wrap things up for today. Stick around. I want to thank Deanna Ley of IKAGG and Valerie Strobo of CARE STL for being our guests here today. You can find their featured listings in the All Things Local STL app, which is available for you to download and register today at getlocalstl.com. When you use the app, the only featured listings you're going to find there are locally owned and operated businesses and organizations. And we invite you to join the Shop Local and Support Local revolution and help us keep St. Louis strong and growing. I have to thank the amazing team here at Outreach Studios for their support in bringing this show to you. And you can find Outreach Studios and their event space, View 17, one of the most spectacular venues in all of the town, in the All Things Local STL app as well. And of course, I want to thank you for tuning in. We look forward to having you join us for future episodes where you can learn more about all things local. Until next time, please be kind to one another and keep loving local. Bye, everyone.